There's a word in Korean called soaking, which means small but certain happiness. It means to find joy in the mundane. It was originally coined by Japanese author Haruki Murakami in his essay titled Afternoon in the Islets of Langerhans, where he describes a small piece of happiness as eating a freshly baked loaf of bread with one's hands, seeing neatly folded underwear in a drawer, wearing a new shirt that smells like clean cotton, and letting a cat enter into a bed with a rustling sound. I remember this one specific conversation I had with a friend around June when we were 3 months into the pandemic. He had asked me how I was doing, and I had said that I was doing pretty well. He looked at me with surprise and said that I was the only person he had talked to in a while who was having a good time. The thing is, I wasn't having an extraordinary time or anything. I just had things I looked forward to every day. And I remember saying that I was doing well for the following reasons. Number 1, I had established a routine for myself for a couple days at that time. I was waking up at 10 or 10:30 every morning and would make myself a bowl of oatmeal and a cup of iced coffee. While eating my breakfast, I would read a bit of whatever book I was reading at the time. Number 2, I spent a lot of time on my backyard porch where I could see the vegetables growing in the yard and hear the birds chirping. It was nice to get some fresh air and feel the warmth of the sun on my skin. Sometimes my dog would sit with me while I read, and we just enjoy each other's silent company. Number 3, I went on a walk almost every single evening with my mom, my sister, and dog around our neighborhood right when the sun was about to set. In a world without the coronavirus, I would have been going out more and seeing more people, for those things would have made me happy. However, in the context of the pandemic, my morning coffee and reading and porch and evening walks made me happy. They were simultaneously the most grandiose, yet simple things that I could do to find joy in. They were my small pieces of happiness. It's obviously been a couple of months since that conversation happened, and a lot of things have changed in my life. For one, I've moved out away from my family to a place with my friends in Toronto. I'm also back in school, which is all entirely online. And lately, over the last month or two, I found myself losing that small but certain happiness mentality that I had had over the summer. Without going into too much detail, things deteriorated significantly, and I questioned whether or not my future would bring me any joy. After all, if my life consisted of school and more school and then a job from 9 to 5 under capitalism and an ordinary life consisting of the same old routine day after day, what would I do? What could I look forward to? How could I possibly be happy? Reading week began on November 9th, and my housemates and I decided to make the most of the last couple of sunny days we had been getting. We took a ferry down to Ward Island and found ourselves a spot on the beach. For a few short but delightful hours, we lost ourselves in the beauty of the day. I ate green grapes with cheese and baguettes and played Uno and listened to ABBA and read a chapter of a book I'd been meaning to read and let the sun beat down on my skin like it was summer all over again. That day on the island gave me a short but much needed break, and I don't know if it was because of that or pure coincidence, but throughout the last week, things have seemed a little bit more hopeful than they were the week before. As I write this out, there are some things that bring me joy when I even think about them. I'm happy when I'm sitting around the kitchen table with my roommates talking about both nothing and everything at the same time. I'm happy when a new recipe I'm trying out for dinner turns out alright. I'm happy when I'm lying in bed watching a new episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm happy when I'm watching a movie, when I'm petting my dog, and when I'm watching a movie while petting my dog. I hate to sound like the ending of a coming-of-age movie, but at the end of the day, I really do think that it's always the darkest before the sun rises, and that we would just take happiness for granted if we never experienced sadness. I don't want to delegitimize mental health problems and say something like, haha, mental health issues aren't real, just be happy, lol. But finding small things in your everyday life that make it easier for you to get out of bed in the morning isn't something that's super difficult to do. There has to be something that brings you joy no matter how small it is. I hope that this helps me out in the future if need be. Even if one day I possibly can't think of anything to make me smile, I hope that seeing the things that bring me joy in this video remind me of all the good that I'm blessed with, and I deserve happiness. Thank you for watching.